Badlandia, and welcome to Badlands Daily. It is Monday, so getting ready to hit another week. So that means I'm joined by Zak Paine. How you doing, brother?
I am excellent, Brian. How about yourself?
I am living my best life, man. I am living my best life.
Can't argue with that.
An awesome weekend, man. I got to go get some range time this weekend. I have not been to the range in quite a long time.
Me too. Dang.
And I finally got some pew time. It was good, man. I still got it. Doing some draw, practicing. That's the thing, man. When people go to the range, like a lot of people just go there and just boom.
Right.
Boom,
that's not real life.
Boom.
You're not always going to have an opportunity to line that shot up.
So I had to sight in. I had to sight in a couple of my rifles because I got some new optics on them. And, the range that we have, they have different tiers of membership, and you have to go through like not training, but like testing to do certain things at the range, like rapid fire, holster draws, different positions. They even have like a dynamic shooting night where they let you go downrange and like set up like a course that you can navigate.
The action range.
Yeah, so I have the elite one, and so I'm allowed to do like holster draws and everything. And I was shooting my AR, and I've got this big ass compensator on my AR, and the guy next to me is shooting an AR, and it's pretty good. Like my ears are ringing from it with, and then I start shooting mine, and the range guy comes over and goes, Hey, can you back up a little bit? And I'm just propped on the platform. Sighting in with a bipod, and he's like, Hey, can you back up a little bit? The people next to you are freaking out. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, your compensator, it says it's rattling their glasses, their eye pro. And I'm like, well, maybe if they pass the Hearing Protection Act and I could get suppressors, over the counter instead of having to go through the whole process, maybe we wouldn't have this issue. But anyways, it was a fantastic range day, man. I got to do a lot of concealed practice, and that's always really important. And
my question would be, we're at a gun range. What did you expect was going to be happening at the range? I guess maybe if they can't handle the sound and the concussive blast of a rifle next to them at the range, maybe they could choose a booth a little bit further down, or maybe they could get some better hearing protection. There's a lot of options. I can't believe that they asked you to change what you were doing. They've never done that to me at my range. Like we've got different ranges for different things. Obviously you've got like different, it's all outside. So, you've got the action range, you've got the auto range, you've got, the different distances. So you got like a 50, 100, 150, and then a 200. And there's a bunch of different things, but everybody knows exactly what they signed up for when they get to whichever one they're at.
We have one now that has like, you shoot at like a computer screen, like a projected image, and it's got, like a backdrop to catch the rounds and everything, but it like interacts with with the rounds penetrating. And so like you can shoot it like they have a zombie game where like zombies are coming at you and you have to like headshot the zombies to get them, whatever.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. It's if you're ever down this way, I'll take you there and we'll do some shooting.
I'd love that. I've got like a dry fire system for in the house. And that's as close as I've gotten for a long time, which is sad because I've got a whole bunch of guns that I've built that I haven't even had a chance to shoot for the first time yet.
All right. I did see a Daniel Defense 300 blackout short barrel that is just screaming my name. Screaming. All right, guys, let's get into the news today. We're not just going to talk guns all day, although Zach and I probably could do that for most of the show. But before we do that, before we get into the news, let's go ahead and check out some of our sponsors.
What up, Badlanders? Are you ready to rock something new in 2026? Well, as always, we got you covered with the Rise Badlands Native Collection. Built from the rich tones and rugged terrain of the Dakotas, equal parts beautiful and brutal. Old roots, new vibe. Whether you got gators in your backyard or you have to take a bush plane to the post office, Badlanders are worldwide. Different dirt, same tribe. Speaking of different dirt, the ghost of Base Patrick Henry designed a plan for the border wall that he actually sent to the White House. It's friggin' hilarious. Now you can get it on a shirt, hoodie, and more. And don't forget, every order throws fuel on the fire of the Made in USA parallel economy. So grab something now at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
All right, badlandsmedia.tv/rise. Check them out. I've got my long sleeve Ghost of Base Patrick Henry moat border plan shirt coming in the mail. I am excited to put that on. I'll definitely wear it on a show. I'll replace my hoodie with a shirt. I've been wearing this hoodie for 5 years now. Well, a hoodie, this one for probably 2 years now. But speaking of Ghost of Base Patrick Henry, we have our next soft disclosure ad. Sorry, Zach, we are replacing your epicness, but here it is, guys. Softdisclosure.com, promo code Badlands.
A long, long time ago, a raider went into a dangerous cave because he was on an adventure. Or like he smelled like an adventure. But the cave was protected by spiders and lizards. No, it was snakes. Snakes? Why did it have to be snakes? Whatever it was, the raider wasn't scared of it because it was Ghost, the lotion raider. Then he found the golden deodorant. That's not deodorant, that's the towel bar. It was soft disclosure. Ghost had exactly 1 second to switch it, or the whole cave explodes. And then the boulders started chasing him. Run, Ghost, run! Oh no, he dropped the soft disclosure. I got it. I understand its power now. That lotion is an important artifact and it belongs in every household. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code LotionWaiter for 15% off.
Is that Ghost's kids?
I don't know. I was thinking that, but the hat tip to Gart Vegas at the end with him sleeping on the rock.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Softdisclosure.com, promo code LotionRaider. I apologize. I got the code there wrong, but yeah, another epic ad from Green Star over there. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Love it. Looking forward to the next one already. Although Ghost as the Lotion Raider is pretty epic. So
it's a good one. It's gonna be hard to top.
I don't know. I don't know if that tops yours. I don't know, man. It's pretty close.
I mean, I'm always gonna think that mine is the best. There's I don't yeah. But I mean, still, Green Star continues to impress every single time.
It's the song in yours that makes it, you know. I still have that song playing in my head. It's been stuck in my head. I can't get another song stuck in my head. I just hydrate your. All right, guys, smash that thumbs up if you have not done so already. And let's jump into the news. Let's head out to New Jersey to check out what's going on. All the shenanigans up there with the protests. They're back. The protests are back. It's really interesting how this is evolving right now. Zach, we've seen the efforts of, you know, the subversive state, the NGO fueled networks throughout the country. They've been trying to get the No Kings protests and everything else. And whenever you go to them, you know, and the videos we've seen of them, it's always like these older, I don't want to say old because I mean, our audiences are our age and above.
Ryan, I'm 40. I'm 48. I'll be 48 in August. So,
well, okay,
I resemble your comment.
I'm saying the No Kings. It was mainly people like over 40, right?
Yeah.
I think we're all in our 40s here, at least in our 40s.
Yeah.
This is now we're starting to see the 20-somethings come back out and get involved in this, and it's very interesting that it's all over this, you know, this food strike, which, you know, is basically over. We're not getting the ethnic foods that we want. We want our ethnic foods. You know, I talked about this last week because there was a court an amicus brief submitted by the DOJ in the New York vaccine case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was freaking out and saying, look, Trump is standing up for, the vaccine mandate and in New York, and he's not protecting the Trump DOJ, and they're not protecting the New Yorkers. But that wasn't the case. The DOJ was asked a very, very specific question. It did not opine anyway on the law in New York. It was asked about religious exemption versus religious accommodation. And Title VII says religious accommodation, meaning that the employer has to do what they can to try and, accommodate your religious beliefs. And that's what they did in New York. So the DOJ was right in the way they said it. But of course, people are going to freak out about that, not understanding the DOJ answered a very narrow question. But this is a place where if they had said, religious exemption, it could impacts a case like this where, the people are asking for ethnic foods. Now, granted, that's not entirely religious, but like kosher, halal, those kinds of things can fall in line with that religious exemption. But either way, let's get into this story here. NBC News: protest over cruel conditions at New Jersey ICE facility draw counter protest and a curfew. A group of pro-ICE protesters faced off with demonstrators who have maintained a presence outside the facility for more than a week in support of detainees who they say are enduring inhumane conditions inside. Continued late-night clashes with authorities prompted Newark Mayor Ras Baraka to institute a 9 to 6 curfew, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. The curfew applies to the area within half a mile of Delaney Hall, and those who violate the closure and curfew will be removed and prosecuted. The mayor said in a statement, quote, multiple individuals have already been arrested and found in possession of weapons. Shocker.
Yeah.
And this is Mickey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey. And
is it Sherrill or is it Cheryl?
Cheryl. I don't know. I was
potato. Who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? I couldn't care less. So listen to this statement she gives here. You could see on the right, there's going to be some split screen of protest, but check this out.
And you're certainly not keeping New Jersey safe. Today and going forward, I urge those protesting outside of Delaney Hall to bring the temperature down so we can focus on the detainees and their families. So comply with lawful orders from local and state law enforcement and let advocates, faith leaders, and members of this community continue their work. Here in America, you have a right to protest and a duty to do so peacefully. The work doesn't stop here. I'm going to keep working with our federal delegation to demand answers. I'm going to keep using every tool at my disposal to get full access to Delaney Hall. And I'm going to keep working for better conditions inside of this facility until it's closed for good. So today I'm calling on the Department of Homeland Security to do the following: restore visitation for families, provide appropriate care and medical for all detainees, especially the most vulnerable. Give detainees a meaningful chance to review their cases. Stop pressuring them into signing deportation documents. Here in the United States of America, we can and we must do better. As governor, I swore an oath to the Constitution of New Jersey to promote peace, prosperity, and the lawful rights of everyone in our state. I'm going to uphold that oath, and now I'll turn it over to the...
All right. So pressuring, these people, I guess, to sign a deportation order. At some point, we need to just stop with the detaining them.
Yeah.
And this is clear cut. You're either a U.S. citizen or you're not. You can either prove that or you're not. There is no gray area where, you're here illegally, but no, there is no gray area in this. And, if they're able to pressure them or if they're able to get them, I don't know, how they're defining pressure them, but if they're able to get these illegals to sign deportation orders, that's taking a burden off the U.S. taxpayer. I see no problem with that whatsoever. But as far as like the inhumane conditions and the, all that stuff, you're in a detention center. It's not supposed to be the Ritz-Carlton, right? You're not going to, I don't know, man. There's more I want to play from her, but go ahead.
Well, the other thing is that the standards inside an ICE facility are like leagues better than the standards would be for a regular American citizen at your average county jail. And on top of that, what she's asking for is for illegal aliens to be given additional accommodation over and above the system through which they are forcing the hand of the government to push them through. If they hadn't come to the United States of America illegally, it wouldn't be necessary to arrest them. It wouldn't be necessary to detain them, and it wouldn't be necessary to push them through the immigration court system to get them the hell out of our country. She wants them to have more rights than an American citizen. As far as I'm concerned, they are already being afforded more rights, because if you go to a regular county jail, it's not fun. Okay, the food sucks. They don't give you a menu with options on what you're possibly going to be wanting to eat that day. They say, this is the slop you're going to be fed today. And if you don't like it, you don't have to eat it, and you can go back to your bunk hungry. And quite often, you know, I mean, look at what they did to the January 6th detainees. Look at the conditions under which those guys lived. I sincerely doubt that any of these illegal aliens inside Delaney Hall are being forced to drink fetid, putrid, brown, stinking water coming from their sinks only inside their cells. I sincerely doubt that they have sewage pouring out of aging unsanitary sewer systems into their cells. I sincerely doubt that they're waking up in the middle of the night with roaches in their ears and their mouths. The very fact that they even have these freaking morons fighting for them out there is insane to me. But I'll tell you what, Brian, it sure has exposed quite a bit during the time that they've been allowed to gather outside of Delaney Hall. And I think all of this was intentional. That's just me, though.
It has, and we're gonna go through a couple videos here that are very interesting, because you can see conflict within the protesters themselves. You can see divided lines between them. I do want to point out something with all this, prison talk. Today is Free Tina Peters Day.
It is Free Tina Peters Day. That's right. Hallelujah. Tina Peters is going home.
Thank God Almighty. She is going to be released today. And speaking of poor conditions, that is one of the things that she said in her statement, that she is going to become an activist for prison conditions for American citizens.
Yes.
And I can get behind that. I can get behind, I'm curious to hear her stories of what she went through, in there. Also, she's in terms of the food quality. She said the first thing she's looking forward to when she gets out is a steak, a nice steak. I offered to fly out there and make her one of my world famous or at least Badlands famous fillets, but I don't think the message got to her. So I'm still here for today with you guys. Rightfully so.
Yes.
All right. So here is the governor one more time. This is a shorter clip, but exposing that it's not just New Jerseyans. No, Sherlock.
We know that people from outside the state have been interfering in the protests and escalating them. 5 of the 6 people arrested last night by state police were from outside New Jersey. And some national extremist groups have become involved in the protest here today. To the people coming from out of state to create chaos and dangerous situations, you should not be here. We know.
Just now catching on that it's out of state people that are doing this. You guys, where have you been for the last 8 years? And God knows how long before that. But yeah, the out of state problem, again, if you're arrested for that, do they elevate that to a federal crime? If you cross state lines to commit a crime, does that get elevated to a federal crime, or does it still stay with the New Jersey State Police?
Well, I mean, if they're members of Antifa, then they're automatically members of a transnational and a domestic criminal organization. So I would imagine that any crimes they commit could immediately be prosecuted in federal court. And they ought to be. I mean, especially considering the types of things they're doing. And from what I understand, at least a couple of them are currently within the probation system or the parole system. They're known criminal actors outside and over and above whatever their membership affiliation with Antifa might be. So I would imagine any potential multipliers are probably going to get stacked on there.
Let's I just saw this in the chat, so let's go ahead and Tina Peters is out. She's over on Bannon right now.
right?
People ask me, they say, what do you want to do when you get out? And I said, I want a nice big thick steak and a nice green salad with avocado, tomatoes, cucumber. I hadn't had a tomato for almost 2 years. I'm just 4 months shy of being incarcerated for 2 years. And so things like that people will take for granted. Marcy went and bought me a Sonicare toothbrush. I've been using a toothbrush about that long for all this time. And, the food in prison is horrible. I mean, it has sugar and salt. So a lot of people become sick. My A1C diabetes runs in my family, but I've always managed it well with my diet, and that has deteriorated that way with my blood sugar. Everything's either salt or sugar. You don't really have the proper nutrition that you need. So I'm going to be getting checked out by doctors, and I've got a lot of growth that came on my skin that in places where the sun don't shine. Yeah, right. And so I need to have that checked out. The water, there was concerns about the water. There was a dog program at the prison, which is now closed down, but they even, because there was so much lead in the water, they even gave the dogs filtered water, purified water. So there's things like that. I feel like I've aged, about 10 years is the way I feel. So I just need to take some time, regain my health, get back to the way I have always taken care of myself in the past, and then, get back and get to work again.
Tell me about the security. We were very concerned. Obviously, we did the special, the 500 days in prison. We did all the specials around the time that you were attacked. People were so concerned about the security. Then when Governor Polis did step up and do kind of that profile and courage to reduce your sentence, people were very concerned about what was going to happen in security then. Tell us about the security in the prison and what it was like.
Well, you all have probably been more aware of the threats against me and the rhetoric than I even have, because I'm not able to get on the internet. I haven't been. I had to have Marcy I just got out, so I had to have Marcy actually show me how to use my phone, show me how to get on the internet, because it has been so long. But in the prison, I'll just tell you, I was amongst, even at the end, I was in with women who had done horrendous crimes, murder, actually in my day hall in my cell, and that had exit dates of 2050, and things like that. And the problem with La Vista, or the problem with Colorado, actually, Steve, is that there are no minimum security prisons. And so La Vista used to be a minimum security prison, but the incarceration rate in Colorado is so high that, and there's only 2 women's prisons, that they did what they call overrides to put closed custody violent criminals in with me at the facility. So,
all right, we can, we'll land that there, but it's great to see her out for being in prison for as long as she has been. She looks pretty good.
She does, but I mean, you can tell she's, basically been tucked away from the sun, and obviously she doesn't have access to the same makeup that she used to have. I mean, and the food. I mean, all of that is going to take a toll on a person's body, on their mind. So, but I think you're right. All things considered, I think she does look really good.
Yeah. And again, the minimum security prison thing, that's something that Ash and I covered when we were covering the appellate hearing that she had. And that was one of the arguments that they made. And, that's an equal protection case right there. That is an equal protection case, because if men are afforded, camps and minimum security prisons, and women aren't, then they don't have equal protection under the law. And, that's something Colorado is going to have to figure out, because Tina Peters was a quote unquote white collar criminal who committed a nonviolent crime, first time offender, and all the other things. We've unpacked this many, many times. And she was put in there with people, like she said, that had exit dates of 2050. You don't get an exit date of 2050 for, nonviolent crimes, right? Those are serious hardened criminals.
The thing is that when women commit crimes, they go absolutely apeshit. And I've found that it seems like they seem to think that, well, first of all, they don't think before they commit one of these horrible crimes. It's all emotion. All right. It's like total instinct. And unfortunately, there are a lot of women out there who think that just because they're women, that they can get away with something, and that they're not going to be punished in the way that that a man would be. And so that leads the women who do commit crimes to commit some pretty heinous crimes and think that they are above being arrested and above being charged. It's insane. And that's, obviously not all women, but there's a phenomenon that I've noticed.
I was going to say, you're going full John. You're going full John right now.
I'm not saying women shouldn't vote, but
well, that would be full Ash. That's Ash's take.
I know.
All right, getting back into the New Jersey stuff. So I alluded to earlier that you're seeing some divide here, and I want to play this clip. This clip ends with the guy driving that truck right there, just going off, and I love that. I love to see the quote unquote people, right, getting out and standing up for themselves and letting their voice be heard against these lunatics. But watch the kind of the divide here between people who are quote unquote on the same side, and tell me if you notice anything unique about each side compared to the other.
These guys are not the enemies. People are inside talking. I understand that, and that's why we're here. But these people are working. They have families too. We've been letting cars go through here all day long.
Right.
These people are working. And that's who's been letting you've been letting through also. What are you afraid of? I'm not afraid of anything. What are you afraid of? Do you want to stop ICE? Do you want to stop them? This is not stopping ICE. That's ICE over there. What are you doing? These people are not ICE.
I know he's worried, but you guys gotta not protest. Come onto other people's lands. You gotta think about what you do and how you represent the people that are there. Watch and listen, because this is not the goal. Watch them. Now, watch them. Come with me, I'll guide you through. Come on.
I get what you guys are trying to do, but we're dispersing the crowd. I get it.
This is why communism will never work.
What the fuck you actually know about theory? You're not here for the working class.
Okay.
This is working class people just like us. Those are the working class traders, not them. These are not the working class traders. They fucking are.
Okay, so we're about to get into the truck driver, and I want to play that because he deserves his own segment of his own. What do you notice about those people there? Because you see a clear divide.
Yeah, totally. It's the black bloc that are basically obstructing everything. They are like they're not just communists; they're total anarchists. They want the ultimate destruction of everything, and it doesn't matter what an individual's ideology is. Like, they're not really like it's a completely different subset of people than the protesters who are there to to stop ICE.
Well, what I would, so first and foremost, the woman beginning with the vest on, she's with an NGO. She's got
with the union.
She's got some sort of identifying insignia on her back.
Yeah.
The people who are, blocking traffic and trying to, disrupt the entire area, not just protest there, but none of them will expose their face. In fact, one guy shows his eyes for a second. When he realizes there's a camera in his face, he pulls it up over his eyes. He pulls it up completely over his eyes. The other people, the people that are like, hey, just protest them, they got their full faces exposed.
Yeah.
They got their full. So it's almost, it's almost like you can see clearly the people that are there on a specific mission, and that is to disrupt the entire thing, to descend into pure chaos, versus those that are there to protest, which, you know, again, I think it's pretty stupid. I think setting up there and being there for, you know, days on end is pretty stupid. That's an occupation, not a protest.
Well, they're all being paid. There's no doubt.
Well, it's also, again, you know, when you see the Cuba thing kicking off and you see Hassan Piker and so many others being, you know, investigated now by DOJ, and then boom, you get this movement right here, and it's all the young people. It's the black bloc again, you know, the full-blown communist retards coming out in their full covered up head to toe, can't let anybody know who you are kind of thing. That's not lost on me that it's all happening again right as, you know, Piker and crew and Singham, Neville, Roy Singham, and all them are getting scrutinized pretty intensely by the DOJ. Let's here's the clip of the truck driver. I love this, man.
Don't I get locked up? Huh? What am I doing? Am I bothering y'all? Huh? If I hit one of y'all, I ain't gonna jail, right? No, I ain't gonna jail. If I hit y'all, gonna jail, right? Come on. What's wrong with y'all, man? Come on, man. Fuck, yo. Let's go.
I love it. Dude just wants to get home, man. He's been working all damn day, and you guys are out there causing chaos. And he says, if I did something wrong, I go to jail. What the hell's wrong with you guys? They don't know how to react to that, by the way, Zach. You see the one guy's like, I don't know what to do right here. I have a black man in front of me screaming at me not to do what we're being told to do. Do I say something? Like, they don't know how to respond to that. I love it.
Brain breaking in real time.
I love it. I love it. Well, just a couple more clips on this, because this was made news right here. So this guy, this was Nick Sorter posted this.
Children, your wife, all dead. Look at my boy. I have your face, mother. You're dead. Dead.
You're dead.
So we got your face too, dude. And you just threatened to kill the entire family of ICE officials. And Todd Blanche says the FBI just arrested the man who threatened to kill ICE officers and their families. F around and find out. I usually have my F around. And find out thing ready to go, but I don't today.
I got one.
Wait, I got it. It's right here. Oh, wait. No, I don't. Yeah, it is. Oh, too late. I ruined it. Zach, I killed it. Anyways.
I'll tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
So there was another clip that Sorter put out that was pretty good, and somebody infiltrated the background. So these people literally have camps set up. Again, this isn't a protest. This is an occupation. No. This is in New Jersey. You need permits to do things like this. Not that, I mean, I'm not a fan of permits whatsoever, but until you remove those laws, they're laws. But check this out. This is somebody breaking into or infiltrating. I don't want to say breaking into, infiltrating the operation on the back end. They got tents, they got tables, they got registrations, the radical hospitality zone.
So that's what I'm saying. If it's cool, I'm going to do something to talk about.
Got gas masks to hand out. Look at this. All this NGO money. USAID. Got diapers. Take your baby to a protest.
Anyone? Like, or wipes or something.
I'm leaving. I don't know how good these commentary drones are. Whatever.
Medical tent? Is that? Oh, you got it. Thank you.
That's crazy, man. Like, why don't they just go in there and remove these people? Remove these. Like, that's loitering at that point, isn't it?
Well, like I said earlier, Brian, I think this is a trap. Every single one of those people, no matter how hard they try to hide their identity on camera, I would imagine that the vast majority of them have electronic devices of one form or another. And even if they don't have a telephone that's turned on, I would hazard a guess and say that there's probably a way to capture an IP address, a Mac ID, a Bluetooth device ID, even on my camera. Okay, like I've got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity on that. So there is a wireless signal that could be locked onto. And even if they show up with no devices on their person, their tracking of movements across the country to come to New Jersey likely ended right before they got to the spot at Delaney Hall. So the possibility of those known Antifa and left-wing agitators driving all the way into New Jersey and then just suddenly stopping makes it pretty likely that they were actually on site. So what you have here is the obvious intel that you're going to be getting from the movement of these people. You also have the movement of money going into any number of different cash sharing apps like Venmo or PayPal or Cash App, or just going into bank accounts, flowing from a 501c3 or some type of other left-wing nonprofit, and funding all of this stuff. So the amount of intelligence that is being gathered right now is immense. And then on top of that, you also have the people that are committing crimes like openly while they're there, and they're being arrested. And then once they're arrested, you get their phones, you get all of their comms, you get every messaging app that they've been involved in. And it gives up the entire network.
I'm with you, man. And again, the timing of it coming right after, all the Piker stuff and the Singham stuff and the Code Pink stuff and the NGO crackdowns. I'm here for it, man. I'll bring this story back up here in just a minute, because we're going to head over to Paris here in just a second. And then we'll bring it up again here when we get back to Washington, D.C. and America's 250th. But we're going to go ahead and hit another sponsor here before we move over. We're going to take a quick trip over to Paris. But before we do that, let's go ahead and hit our next sponsor, guys. Father's Day is coming up. And if you don't know what to get Dad, this is it. Skip the random last minute gift and get him something he'll actually use every single week. Chef IQ Sense is a smart wireless thermometer that connects to your phone and tells you exactly when your food is done. No guesswork. It tracks your cook in real time. It walks you through every step and tells you exactly when to flip, when to pull, rest, and serve. So instead of I think it's done, you'll get I know it's perfect. No more overcooked steaks or dry chicken. We're talking real restaurant level results. Steak, burgers, chicken, fish on the grill, in the oven, even the smoker. And the best part, you don't have to babysit anything. You can watch the game. You can hang out with family. Your phone handles it all. It basically is like having a cook coach right in your pocket. Right now, the Father's Day, you'll get 40% off site-wide at chefiq.com with promo code Badlands. Again, that's chefiq.com, promo code Badlands. Cook smarter with Chef IQ Sense. I love my Chef. I was talking earlier about Tina Peters making the steak. I use Chef IQ. My wife uses Chef IQ. She cooks, I smoke. And so she uses it every single day. I use it when I'm on the smoker and on the grill. It is unbelievable how, I've never had a bad cook with the Chef IQ. Not one single time.
Yeah. I can say the same. The steaks or whatever it is that we're cooking has been perfect every single time. And just as an experiment, we kind of did what we used to do and didn't use the Chef IQ and just kind of freeballed the steaks. And no, dude, there's it was not the same. It wasn't nearly as good. And, I used to pride myself on my ability to make steaks. And it's like, there's something totally different about using that measured scientific approach. Yeah.
Well, and the best part is when I first got it, one of the questions I had asked when we first got it was, does it account for rest time on steaks? Because rest time is important, because when you take it off the grill, it's still cooking, right? That meat is still cooking inside. So people will be like, oh, I want it at 135. And so they'll take it off the grill at 135 and they're like, okay, we're good. No. You got to take it off at like 125, 128, somewhere around there. Chef IQ does it for you, and you get that perfect 135 after the 10-minute rest. ChefIQ.com, promo code Badlands, 100%, 110% recommend that product. Don't cook without it. I'm dead ass serious. All right, let's get into Paris. PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, wins back-to-back Champions League titles after a shootout victory against Arsenal. The people in Paris, man, another level. Hockey is the most masculine sport out there, in my opinion. Like, hockey is, bar none, the biggest alpha-dominated sport. But soccer fans are another level of crazy. So PSG won in Paris, and so what do? They take to the streets and destroy Paris. Any excuse to protest. I got a couple more clips of this. This is a wide shot of the Eiffel Tower with fires burning right next to the Eiffel Tower. Zoom back down. Come on, zoom back down. There you go. You got some of the towers there. And then we got one more clip here. Your team won. Like, what are you doing? Go to a bar and drink, man, or go to a party, or I don't know. You're burning your city down, but
well, a lot of the people that live there are not really Parisians, let's be honest, so they don't care about the history and the beauty of Paris.
Exactly. They get infiltrated, and now, like, hey, this is an opportunity, and this is the reason I'm kind of playing that off that way is because that's how these color revolutions, that's how these Gladio type operations, that's how they work. They infiltrate any mass gathering and try and steer the direction into chaos and into destruction and into that, that realm. And this is no different right here. This is, hey, look, everybody's celebrating. Everybody is happy. And they're able to flip the switch on them like that. And now happy turns into destruction and chaos and burning e-bikes in the middle of the street and lighting fires by the Eiffel Tower and taking down
businesses.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're able to infiltrate, the minds of people like that. And, that it's pretty nuts, man. So let's go back to the U.S. and talk here. The Hill, Martina McBride pulls out of America's 250 concert. Turned out to be misleading.
In what way?
It was never misleading, but I digress. This is laying the foundation, right? Hollywood is just as culpable in all this. The celebrities, they're just as culpable in the chaos that ensues after events like the PSG victory or the Delaney Hall. You have people come out and make these dog whistles, and this is another case right here. Now, am I saying that Martina McBride is knowingly doing that? No, but whoever pushed her to somehow cancel and put out this, politically charged message about not wanting to celebrate 250th in the nation's capital is they're laying that foundation to turn the 250th into a controversial event instead of making it something bipartisan. And I don't know if you've been to the Freedom 250 website, but I was watching a podcast in the background over the weekend, and they were playing clips from all of the, people across the country that are sending in messages about what America means to them. And there were several that were migrants and, bringing other cultures into the United States and talking about what it means for them to be an American. And it was an overwhelming positive message. And you can tell, like, looking at some of these people, if you were to judge, you'd be like, okay, that's probably not a Donald Trump supporter, right? That's probably not a MAGA conservative as they paint them in the mainstream. Although I think that there's a lot more MAGA conservatives than people would know that don't look like the left wants us to all, be in that white male,
Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yeah. What do they call them? Wasps.
Yeah.
They want us all to be in that WASP category, and we're not. But so let's jump into this. Martina McBride pulls out of America 250 concert. I didn't even know she was still performing. I mean, She sang that song, I think, Independence Day, which was like a fantastic song. And she was fantastic in the 90s and early 2000s. And didn't even know she was still around. But
I honestly couldn't tell you any song that she's ever sung. Like
she sings that song, Let Freedom Ring. Okay.
Anyways. I never heard it.
Country singer Martina McBride shared that she will not be participating in a massive concert on the National Mall next month to celebrate America's 250th birthday, claiming she was misled about the nature of the event. Quote, I was presented with an opportunity to perform at a nonpartisan event, but that turned out to be misleading, McBride wrote in a post. McBride was one of a handful of artists scheduled to perform during the Great American State Fair, a 16-day event that will run from June 25th through July 10th. Several other musicians in the lineup have also sought to distance themselves from the event over concerns about President Trump's potential involvement, including Bret Michaels. I didn't even know he was still around. I thought he was just doing reality TV shows.
Yeah.
Young MC.
Holy shit.
Morris Day and the Time.
Whoa.
And the CC Music Factory.
CNC Music Factory.
Bro,
they're going deep. Young MC, Morris Day and the Time, and CNC Music Factory. Oh my God, that's wild, bro.
Are they gonna bring them up there in wheelchairs and walkers?
I mean, they're not that old, but I mean, like these are some aged one-hit wonders for sure.
Hold on. Let me see how old Morris Day is. How old is Morris Day?
Morris Day's got to be in his 70s or 80s.
68,
yeah.
68. Okay, so he's not that old.
Yeah.
How old is Young MC?
He's got to maybe 50s. This is a tale for all the families. Try to do what those ladies tell us. I used to love that song, man. It's so good.
59. Rappers Flo Rida and Vanilla Ice are still scheduled to perform at the event. That to me, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That these people and this is something that I would totally and they deserve every ounce of criticism and ridicule that they're getting on social media, and they're getting blasted over this. Blasted. The idea that the president of the United States would not, be a factor in the 250th celebration, the semi-quacentennial, I think it's what it's called. The fact that he would not be a focus when he's literally talked about this for the entirety of his campaign for his third term.
Of course, the president's going to be there.
I mean, let's see. In his executive order from January 29th, 2025, not January 29th, 2026, January 29th, 2025, over a year ago, he named himself the chair of Task Force 250.
Yeah.
So again, this isn't anything new. And trust me, these people, when they're making these contracts to perform at these events, if there's something like that concerns them that much, if they hate Trump that much, that's going to be one of their questions. What is going to be the role of the president in this? Is this going to be a political event? Is there going to be senators and presidents and everything else there? And if there is, then you opt out. But they signed the contract, and now, like a month before, was it deliberate sabotage all along? Yeah. Or is this, or it could just be sowing the animosity now so that you have that chaos in a month when we get there.
Yeah, I tend to think so. Yeah.
Well, President Trump has the most epic response ever. As always. I understand, he put this out on Truth over the weekend, I understand artists are getting the yips having to do with their performance on Wednesday, so I'm thinking about bringing the #1 attraction anywhere in the world, the man who gets much larger audiences than Elvis in his prime, and he does so without a guitar, the man who loves our country more than anyone else, and the man who some say is the greatest president in history, the GOAT, Donald J. Trump, to take the place of these highly paid, third-rate, quote-unquote artists and give a major speech rallying the country forward like I've done ever since being president. 2 years ago, the United States was dead. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I don't want so-called artists to get paid far too much money who aren't happy. I only want to be surrounded by happy people, smart people, successful people, and people that know how to win. So by copy of this truth, I'm ordering my representatives to look at the feasibility of doing an America is Back rally on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. Same time, same location, only great patriots invited. It will be a wild and beautiful celebration of America. President Donald J. Trump.
I mean, of course, it has to be, you know. I mean, who cares about all these loser musical artists? At the end of the day, people are going to show up in D.C. and they're going to want to see Trump. That's the truth.
Well, he wasn't done in Trump fashion. He wasn't done with just one post, Zach.
Oh, here we go.
Again. We should have a giant Make America Great Again rally for 250 instead of having overpriced singers who nobody wants to hear, whose music is boring, and yet who do nothing but complain. Cancel it, just like I canceled my involvement with the failing and unsafe to be in Kennedy Center, because a highly conflicted, crooked federal judge said that I should not be allowed to spend my time and money in order to make the center great again. Actually, far greater than it ever was before. It would have also been nice to see a Republican/Democrat union bring it back to life. The Kennedy Center is broken, unsafe, and busted, and has been for so many years. Judge Cooper also stated that the highly prestigious board of the center was not authorized to add on the name Trump, despite the fact that hundreds of millions of dollars of my time and money will be necessary for... Oh, I accidentally clicked that. I ruined my whole... For its successful reincarnation. So now the Kennedy Center will collapse, both structurally and financially. Judge Cooper and his wife, Amy Jeffries, obfuscation, anyone, should be ashamed of themselves. Judge Cooper, like numerous other crooked judges on my cases, should be impeached. Make America great again. President Donald J. Trump. Love it. But getting back to the point, Zach, I do think we usually do a huge 4th of July celebration, party. Yeah. JD and Cam and Jackie came to it last year. And this year, my dad was like, you want to go to DC? Right after July 4th last year, he booked hotel rooms. And, I told him, I was like, I don't really want to go to DC. I don't, I would love to be there for it, but I don't know. I got this bad feeling about it. And I think this confirms that feeling, that they're going to try and turn this into something dangerous. And I hope not. I hope that's what Trump's able to get out in front of with the sting, what we believe to be a sting taking place right now, but I'll let you jump in.
Well, Go Dog Go says Antifa is threatening the kids of the performers. What would you do? I would say fuck Antifa, pardon my French, but this is the problem that we have in America. This is why corruption has bred unchecked, because good people choose to back off and do nothing. Because when it's time to be brave, when it's time to stand up, when it's time to separate politics from your love of country, people refuse to do it. It's just easier to say, you know what, I don't want to deal with the trouble. I don't want to deal with the hassle. Antifa is not going to stop just because somebody says, okay, I guess I'm going to back off. They're going to continue to get stronger. And unless people choose to be brave, then they'll continue to push forward. And I don't think that we can afford to allow it, personally.
Amen. I think I just got invited to Virginia. The bunny invited me to Virginia. No, we're still going to do our party down here. We're still going to do an epic party down here. And for 250, we're going to go epic. By the way, I looked it up at the 200th. Gerald Ford was participating in the 200th celebration. And again, it's absolutely absurd. And yeah, the idea that Antifa's threatening, their kids or whatever the case might be, then report them and deal with it. I mean, you're a celebrity. It's not the first time that somebody has threatened you or your well-being. I mean, Martina McBride, I'm sure, she's I haven't seen her recently, but back in the day, she was a very, very attractive woman. I'm sure she's had her share of stalkers and all sorts of things, like that get dealt with, but it is what it is. It's all political. It's all garbage. It's and I think we're going to see announcements of some pretty big stars that are going to end up coming down anyways. Flo Rida.
Let me just say this, I've gotten plenty of death threats over the years. Okay. I've had people try to dox me. I had the New York Times. Okay. Figure out my freaking phone number. Okay. And try to come and find me, try to come and expose me. And I'm not like a rich person. I don't have private security like any of these famous rock stars, okay? I don't even have a 401k, all right? Like, I don't have a retirement plan. I am just a regular dude on the internet with a microphone. And I've had plenty of people come after me. Like, my wife has to worry about these people, all right? I'm nobody special, and they would have no problem burning my house down. These people have got protection. These people have an entire industry built around them, and they're cowards as far as I'm concerned. They're not losers just because Trump calls them losers. They're losers because they are refusing to stand up and be brave when the time comes and it counts.
Amen.
Just like every other bureaucrat that sat there and watched the country and you, every single one of you in the chat, get robbed over and over and over again. Because they didn't want to appear to be racist. They didn't want to appear to be prejudiced. They didn't want to look like they were going after somebody because of some immutable characteristic that they were told would make them a bigot. That's why our country is in the position that it is, because of weak, limp-wristed faggots. Pardon me.
Hey, that is a good segue, you know, talking about the theft of our nation, the theft of our country, the theft of all of us that have been busting our ass, not getting the handouts. We got another expose, Nick Shirley-esque. This one coming from Muckrakers out in Massachusetts with Dominican food sales using SNAP benefits to transport food from Lawrence, Massachusetts to the Dominican Republic and then sell it for profit. Check this out.
So right now we're in one of many stores in the Dominican Republic that are stocked with food paid for in the United States with food stamps, sent here on a boat in a blue barrel, put in these little bodega stores, sold here. And it's all being paid for by you, the American taxpayer. These are 50-pound bags of rice that are going to get shipped back to Santo Domingo.
I'm seeing these big giant refrigerator boxes in 55-gallon barrel drums being filled up with food. There's just so much fraud going on in this one city.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Food stamps were created to help low-income American households put groceries on the table at home. The program cost American taxpayers over $100 billion in 2025 alone. But in cities like Lawrence, Massachusetts, a chunk of that money isn't feeding Americans at all. Food bought with your tax dollars at local markets that accept EBT, along with groceries picked up for free from food bank lines, gets loaded into barrels, driven to shipping companies, and sent overseas to the Dominican Republic, where it gets sold for profit in local markets. SNAP rules require that food stay in the household that bought it, but this fraud has been going on for years, and nobody seems to be talking about it. We spent weeks tracing the pipeline, from corner stores swiping EBT cards to vendors in Santo Domingo who told us exactly where their inventory comes from. We talked to a delivery driver in Lawrence, Massachusetts, who's been dropping off packages on these streets for over a decade and has been witnessing this fraud the entire time.
So I'm John, and I've been working in this town of Lawrence, Massachusetts for a little over 11 years. I deliver products all day long, 6 days a week. I have about 35 stops a day where I interact with these people every day.
And when you say these people, we're talking Dominicans specifically.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dominican people. Yeah. I've been witnessing the Dominican residents going to food bank lines and collecting non-perishable goods and then packing it in barrels and in boxes, and then they ship it back to the Dominican Republic.
So how do you know?
I mean, we can wrap it up there. It goes on for another 17 minutes. They end up going to New York and tracking it to the ports in New Jersey to the port of Newark, and from there. By the way, that guy's totally going to get doxxed. It would not be very difficult to figure out who that guy is, and so that's kind of sus in my book.
Well, I mean, he agreed to do it.
Yeah. But did you gotta know, like, I'm sure they allowed him to review that before he put it out, and you gotta know that, like, just from, I mean, maybe they masked him, maybe they, on top of the censoring, maybe they also put like a fake beard on him, put eyeglasses on him, that kind of stuff, put a bald cap over. Maybe they did that to go a step further, and he doesn't have all those characteristics normally, but either way, I mean, that's the thing, is like, I'm not saying that to disparage that guy. I'm saying that to honor that guy. That guy is blowing the whistle on this and saying something about it and speaking up. And that's what we need from more people, is speaking up, because now we've got Somalians in Minnesota and Ohio and some other places. We've got Armenians and Romanians in California. We've got Dominicans in Massachusetts. This is happening all over the place. SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, all of these things. Like, man.
Well,
we pay taxes.
Now that it's being identified, hopefully they're going to shut it down rather quickly, because the administration has been really responsible to these investigative reports coming out from the internet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw this clip here, but the Seattle mayor of Seattle, Katie Wilson, Kami Wilson. She was asked about this, and I remember covering when the Shirley thing was going down. There was a guy that does like the same thing that Shirley does, but he doesn't have quite the following.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a hard time remembering if it was in Seattle or if it was in Portland. It was one of those two. I mean, birds of the feather, right?
Yeah.
But one of those two where they went door to door in just one neighborhood and found like 50 of these daycares that were doing this fraud or whatever. So I don't want to pinpoint that specifically to Seattle. I can't remember the guys. I was trying to find it this morning in the short time that I had, but check out this.
What have you done in those regards?
So we're working on that. So we have conversations going on with the departments, and yeah, it's just, I don't think it needs to be explained why it's problematic to have random people showing up to daycares. I think the fear in the Somali community is real. The fear in immigrant communities are real. So we're taking that very seriously.
Along those lines, have you asked anyone to follow up on the fraud claims, either to the Department of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs or SPD?
No.
So right now, there's no reason to suggest there's any sort of fraud.
This whole issue is not really about fraud, right? It's about dividing and conquering. It's about making an immigrant community a target, right? There's no reason to assume, based on the identity of a daycare operator, that their small business is doing anything wrong.
But their financials might be a pretty good reason. She's so dumb. And I'm fine with it. Accelerate the destruction of Seattle. Bring it about quicker, because otherwise nobody's going to be pissed off enough to do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I could not care less what their nationality, ethnicity, whatever. The only reason that those things are even relevant is because they divide them that way. The guy that, I'm talking about, whether it was Portland or Seattle, it was one of those two. He directs you to a website, and you go to the website and you literally select the daycare that you want based on ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you this is a Somali daycare. This is a, Ethiopian daycare, Chinese daycare. It tells you that. So don't sit there and say like, oh, this is weaponizing, dividing an immigrant community. You either acclimate to America, to being an American, or get the fuck out. Get out. There shouldn't be daycares that are, this is a Somali daycare, this is a Chinese and they have these. And it's divided that way on the .gov websites. So, just because that the fraud happens to be exponentially higher in a particular community doesn't mean you can ignore it because, I don't want to be insensitive. I don't want to be insensitive to that particular community. Fuck off, man.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. Pattern recognition is real. Okay. There is an overwhelming, exponentially greater opportunity and propensity for this fraud to occur in these communities because they are fully aware of their specialized status and the fact that so many people will not even look twice at them because of their national origin. And they've also been taught how to do this fraud going back to the asylum camps that they were living in before they even made it to the United States of America. And then they get to the United States of America and they're like, God, glad you're here. We're going to use your name to open up another daycare center. And we've already got 1,000 kids numbers that we're going to be using to pretend that they're going to your daycare. And then on top of that, you also get paid to give them food that you tell the government you serve, but you don't even have to serve it. You don't even have to pay the money for it. It's just free money. So, of course, they tell every single one who comes in exactly how to defraud the government because nobody's ever done anything about it.
The reason that you don't see so if somebody they're saying, oh, well, they're only attacking the Somali community. They're only attacking the Dominican community because those are the two stories we just covered. Okay, well, go into a predominantly white neighborhood and find this fraud in there. I challenge them, the people that are crying, this is only, cultural insensitivity or whatever. They're only attacking a particular culture, particular immigration community. Okay, well, go in. I encourage it. Go into predominantly white communities, WASP communities, whatever you want to call them, and find it in there. And if it exists in there, expose the hell out of it. And I will be just as critical of that fraud as I will of the fraud here. The problem is it's probably spread out in those communities. I would imagine. And whereas, in the Somali communities, they get together and it's more prevalent throughout there. But the other reason they won't expose is because they're all part of it. They're part of that the white community too. They're going to be part of the European community that's doing the same type of thing. I guarantee you, this is not something exclusive just to immigrant communities. They may. So the reason I think that it's more, and I was thinking about this the other day, the reason that it's more prevalent in those type of communities is because there's huge barriers to get into those communities. Like I could not go to a Somali daycare as a white guy, with a beard and be like, hey, I want to enroll my kids in your daycare. They will never take, a kid in. But if I go there and I can speak Somali, black, or if Dominican, if I look Dominican and I'm speaking Spanish and I go there, they're more likely to put their guard down. And so that's why I think you don't see it quite as consolidated in the white community, because it's way easier to infiltrate, in a situation like that. So on that note, we got some good news out of Los Angeles. Spencer Pratt has now taken the lead in polling. Polls are fake, so are elections, but hey, the narrative is there, right? Spencer Pratt from the New York Post. Spencer Pratt leads Karen Bass in LA mayor's race. California Post poll reveals. A poll conducted by McLaughlin and Associates shows the reality TV star turned mayoral candidate has surged to a statistical tie. They've actually got him out in front, 30.1 to 29.5%. I can't believe she's getting 29.5%. That is a completely captured community. To find 1 in 3 people that are like, oh yeah, Karen Bass is doing a great job. Great job. By the way, the Narcan guy freaking out on the side there, ignore him.
I saw a man on the street interview the other day, and the guy was asking this man, who are you going to support for mayor? And, oh, Karen Bass. Oh, can you tell me one of her accomplishments? And he's like, oh yeah, she really worked on the homelessness. And there's homeless people junking out right behind them, pile of trash.
Yeah, she did a great job. Great job. Look at Skid Row right now. Skid Row's always been Skid Row, but yeah, it's bad over there. It says socialist councilwoman Nitya Raman sits in third place at 23.4%. So I don't know in California I think it'll go to, does it go to a runoff?
It does go to a runoff. Yeah. So one of them has to get 50%. There's definitely going to be a runoff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the unfortunate thing is, are the people that are voting for Raman, are they going to end up backing Bass in a runoff, or are they going to end up backing Pratt in a runoff? And that's the unfortunate part here. It does say Pratt is he leads the field among Hispanic voters with 33% support compared to 24% for Bass and 21% for Raman. So
nice.
Maybe the Hispanic voters will all jump on for Spencer Pratt. 62% of voters believe the city is on the wrong track. For Bass, 32% approve of her job performance, 66% disapprove, 41% strongly disapprove. Her personal favorability ratings are just as bad, with 32% seeing her as favorable, 65% hold an unfavorable position, and then of course the pictures just tell you the story right there. Los Angeles, please don't go from a communist to a socialist. It's no different. It's no different. It's just a slower death.
Yeah.
So, let's jump over to this story here. And I want to go to this clip here because we this happened over the weekend. We saw this on my Saturday show. We covered this. An explosion heard like all over New England, and it turns out it was a meteor breaking up above the sky. I don't know, but check this out.
We heard it ourselves as we were driving right here through Needham earlier today. It was so loud it shook our car that we thought maybe something had even hit it. Turns out many of you had the same reaction.
This amazing Japanese knife set for just 75 cents.
What was that?
It was like boom. We was like, what was that? Everybody's looking at each other.
We heard a massive bang. Like I was in the kitchen, it was just like boom.
That boom seemed to echo across all of Massachusetts on Saturday.
When we heard that, let me pause right there for a second. Did you catch that on this one? Hold on, right here on this garage one.
Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the flash?
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's the explosion. I mean, when the meteor actually explodes, there's going to be a flash of light as well. I mean, it's on fire.
So this allegedly happened 40 miles above Earth.
Okay.
There's been no video I've seen so far that has shown a flash.
I was assuming we were going to see something, but okay. I mean, I'm also totally on board with the fact that this might not have been a meteor.
This is the only video I've seen that has evidence of a visual representation. And someone in the chat, if I'm wrong, post a link and I'll check it out and we'll play it. But this is the only one right here, and you see the sides of the garage on each side. Watch the flash.
Seemed to echo across all of Massachusetts.
In the kitchen, it was just like boom.
That boom seemed to echo across all of Massachusetts on Saturday.
When we heard that boom, we thought, you know what, we better get out of the house right now.
It was so loud, it even woke up the dogs from their afternoon nap. And interrupted a Viking jousting match in Ipswich.
Oh my God, I love it.
The Nords are like, yes, Odin, God of Thunder, Thor.
Oh, tonight we drink in Valhalla.
Everybody else is like, what was that? What was that? The world is ending. The Vikings are like, rah.
Did a Viking jousting match in Ipswich.
We were like, did something fall on the building? But the building didn't move, so we were okay.
I heard a big boom, and I thought, are we having an earthquake?
That rattling bang that we all seem to hear wasn't an earthquake or a tree falling. It was a meteor whizzing toward Earth and exploding right over Massachusetts, according to the American Meteor Society.
I was talking to somebody, they're like, did you feel the meteor? I'm like, meteor? That's what that was.
Dr. John Ebel from the Weston Observatory may have been the most excited and informed person about this meteoric boom.
The boom basically is going to go down on the ground and go splat.
He says it's not unusual for space rocks to make it through the atmosphere, but they usually burn up.
It can generate basically a sonic boom that people can hear on the ground.
Wherever you heard it, scientists say this is a reminder that there's so much more out there beyond ourselves.
See, 3 outdoor shots right there, Zach, and none of them show a flash.
No. And what about the pieces of the meteor? I mean, there's going to be like chunks that still come down to Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is a little piece of space coming and tapping us all on the shoulder and reminding us how cool it all is.
It is also cool. We were all scientists today. And one more cool thing that the scientists told us was that it's pretty common for space rocks to make their way through the atmosphere and to hit.
This is a little piece of space coming and tapping us all on the shoulder and reminding us how cool it all is.
It is also cool. We were all scientists today. And one more cool thing that the scientists told us was that it's pretty common for space rocks to make their way through the atmosphere and to hit Earth. Usually they're very, very small, the size of grains of dust or sand. But those grains of dust are what turn into shooting stars. We're live in Needham.
I mean, that is one of like the last minute of that broadcast right there is like, you ever watch Half Baked?
Yes.
You know when Dave Chappelle's character goes into the lab and he's like, hey, scientist, can I, the way he refers to the scientist, like he doesn't call him by name. He's just like, hey, scientist, yeah, can you just go ahead and mop this? The scientists, we were all scientists for a day yesterday. It is so cool. That just reeks of like brainwashing propaganda. I go back to that garage door. Now, granted, without knowing timestamps and everything else like that, for all we know, that could have been a completely different event, right? That could have been a transformer blowing outside of the house, and somebody's like, oh, I want my garage to be on this thing. Let me send the footage in. Maybe. But that's the only one that we have any evidence, and there's clearly a bright flash in that one. So I don't know. Put my conspiratorial hat on.
We heard a boom the other night too. Lisa, we were laying in bed, and Lisa was like, "What the hell was that? Sounded like a gunshot." I don't know what it was. It was some boom, but obviously at that point it was already over. So
yeah, I see everybody saying pieces fell in the bay. When we were covering on the Saturday show, I pulled up, one of the like Doppler radar, imageries. I don't even know what it's for. And it does show something hit or something right over like Cape Cod, like right in the middle of the bay. But again, I mean, at least what we're told, a football sized meteor smashing into the earth could cause some pretty significant local damage from what we're told. And what I think I saw, and again, I can't find anything else about this, is that they suspect it was about a 3-foot wide meteorite that, burned up or whatever the case might be, and entered the Earth's atmosphere at 75,000 miles per hour. And then once it goes from space into our atmosphere, it creates a sonic boom that gets pushed down onto the people, goes down to Earth. I don't know, man. I've had a few experiences with sonic booms. I was in the Marine Corps. We saw them quite often. I did see a B-1B Lancer that did a supersonic flyby and broke the sound barrier way off in the distance. And you could hear that. That was pretty cool. And F-18s, we've seen them do it. But the craziest one, and similar to the story we're hearing here, back in Trump's first term, Trump was at Mar-a-Lago, and there was a plane that got within the TFA, the no-fly zone that's set up over wherever the president is, and they scrambled jets from Homestead, which is about an hour south by driving, about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Mar-a-Lago. Well, it's an hour from me, so probably about 2.5 hours south of Mar-a-Lago, and they broke the sound barrier over Miami to get to Mar-a-Lago to intercept that plane. And we felt it in my garage. Like, I was working in my garage with my partner at the time, and both of us, the garage shook and everything. And we're like, what the hell was that? And so we jump on Facebook, and they're like, oh yeah, the F-18s flew to intercept whatever. So again, just kind of strange that we're not seeing anything other than like audio of this of this sonic boom, as we're told. I don't know if you have any other insight into this.
Oh man, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know.
NASA Space Alerts came out and said eyewitnesses in New England. Clearly, eyewitnesses. Nobody has any Ring cameras that have anything that they could. It's ear witnesses. It's not eyewitnesses. Let's just call it what it is. Ear witnesses in New England, and NOAA's GOES 19 satellite reported a bright fireball. Again, I haven't seen any bright fireballs except for that one garage shot, but a bright fireball on Saturday, May 30th at 2:06 p.m. Eastern, accompanied by a loud noise. The meteor appears to have fragmented at an altitude of 40 miles over northeast Massachusetts and southeast New Hampshire. The energy released at breakup is estimated to be equivalent to about 300 tons of TNT, which accounts for the loud noise. 300 tons of TNT. Holy crap. Something just hit me. It just popped into my head, Zach. That garage thing had to be local, because we wouldn't have heard the boom and seen the light at the same time if it wasn't local. So that image can't. Yeah, that image can't be from this.
Somebody over here on YouTube says that there's a dash cam video.
I have not seen
Boston Meteor dash cam. Let's take a look.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen dash cam video of other meteors. Okay, looks like there. I found one right here. Let me pull it up.
Hold on, let me play this one more time just to make sure I'm not crazy.
I was in the kitchen. It was just like, boom.
That boom seemed to echo.
Yeah, that's something local. That video has nothing to do with this. So let me take back the visual representation. Like I said, that was probably a transformer going down or something.
Okay.
All right, let's see this dash cam video.
Okay.
Oh, good. I forgot you can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw this one. You don't see anything though.
Oh, you got the audio, but that's it.
Yeah, that one's all audio. I've been looking for most. Like I said, I do my homework, guys. I do my.
Well, okay, hold on. Here's another one, but no, this is community noted. That's not from this event. This is from a different event. Here's okay. I'm finding a bunch of different dash cam videos, but they're all for other events and they are misattributed.
Well, here, Samuel Squirrels put a link up in here.
You might have heard it. That was the sound of a loud boom rattling people across New England on Saturday. NASA confirms, as you can also see in this video from New York, a fireball fell right into the middle of Cape Cod Bay yesterday. Everyone seemed to be talking about it. Social media messages were pouring to see in this video. NASA confirms, as you can also see in this.
All right. So there we have
nice.
Allegedly video confirmation. By the way, I just looked at Zach. Look at the bottom right hand corner, man. It's 58 degrees up there right now.
I mean, are you jealous?
Well, no, this isn't the same video because they said it happened at 2:09 and it says 6:06 or 2:06. It says 6:09. Well, okay, never mind.
That's the time to broadcast.
But okay, it's 58 degrees up there right now in the middle of. Well, I guess it's just the beginning of June. I guess that's
yeah.
Okay, let's jump into this story here. Fox News. United flight from Chicago makes emergency landing after passengers multiple attempts to breach the cockpit. Turns out United Airlines flight bound from Minneapolis made an emergency landing in Madison after a passenger allegedly attempted to storm the cockpit. Air traffic control audio revealed that the passenger made multiple attempts to breach the cockpit. Quote, we're getting word that there is 5 off-duty law enforcement officers on the plane that have the individual detained, according to a sheriff officer member in the background. A sheriff's office employee asks, this is on the audio that they were able to obtain. A sheriff's office employee asks for a Russian translator. Quote, on the odd chance, would there be anyone for a Russian translation? That was the air crew down to the place in Madison. So I guess they had a Russian speaking lunatic on board that tried to jump into the cockpit.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about a person being identified or anything other than the initial reports. So pretty wild.
Yeah, all we got the cockpit, audio that went out there. Everybody immediately was like, hey, they're asking for a Russian translator. That's kind of odd, right? And then the story went quiet. Nothing. No arrest footage. Nobody getting handcuffed and brought off the plane. Just silence.
Yep.
That's always concerning. New York Post, Google planning to release millions of mosquitoes into California to help stop diseases. What the bleep does Google have to do with mosquitoes being released?
What could go wrong?
What does my search engine have to do with releasing mosquitoes?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, but Bill Gates has been doing it. Microsoft's Bill Gates has been doing it. Google is seeking
first Windows, now Google.
Right? Google is seeking federal approval to release up to 32 million specially treated mosquitoes into California and Florida over the next 2 years as part of an effort to reduce the spread of mosquito-borne diseases, including West Nile, St. Louis encephalitis, dengue, Zika, chikungunya, I guess that's how you say that, and yellow fever. The proposal is under review by the U.S. EPA, which is accepting public comments through June 5th. Here's my public comment. Fuck no.
Don't do it. Stop.
Hell no.
Right now, Lee Zeldin is like, God, if you don't want me to accept this proposal, just give me a sign. No, no, Lee, stop.
It says West Nile virus remains the leading mosquito-borne disease in the United States. On Friday, a positive sample of West Nile virus was confirmed in Riverside County. Hold on a second.
You know what else they got in Riverside County? A bunch of Mexicans.
Alpha. I think Alpha's in Riverside County. No. But hang on a second here, Zach. We're talking about a program to release 32 million mosquitoes that are engineered by Google, because they have our best interest at heart, right?
Yeah.
To release 32 million mosquitoes over a disease that is so freaking rare that they're talking about one positive sample was confirmed in Riverside County. It doesn't even say it was a positive diagnosis. It says a sample, meaning they might have killed a mosquito that had West Nile virus.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't transmit it to another person.
No, and it's not like they just like overnight genetically engineered all of these mosquitoes. How do we know that like Google didn't give West Nile virus to a couple mosquitoes and then just like capture one and be like, hey, look, guys, look what we found. By the way, we have this incredible new pilot project we'd love to talk to you about.
It says last year, 1,791 West Nile virus cases were reported in the U.S., 1,335 neuroinvasive cases, the severe form affecting the brain, and 164 deaths. So Google is here to save the day.
164 deaths. That's it. You know what I call that? Natural selection. Like, keep moving forward.
It says the project is part of Google's little-known debug initiative. Okay, when I think of Google and debug, I'm not going to mosquitoes.
No.
And it's launched more than a decade ago to develop new technologies aimed at reducing populations of disease-carrying mosquitoes. Again, why the is Google involved in disease-carrying mosquitoes in the first place? Just like why is Bill Gates looking at mosquitoes to transmit vaccines to people? The company plans to release the male mosquitoes infected with Wolbachia, a naturally occurring bacteria. When the infected male mates with the female mosquitoes, the offspring do not survive, helping suppress mosquito populations over time. You should have led with that first and foremost. Second, no. If you would have led with, hey, we're trying to get rid of mosquitoes in your area, I'd have been like, please tell me how. We're going to have Google do it. And I'm like, fuck no.
Here's the thing, though. Mosquitoes are an integral part of the food chain. I mean, like birds and bats and a whole bunch of other things eat mosquitoes. What happens if they just get rid of mosquitoes? That could cause a potential collapse in the ecology of whatever system they're a part of.
Yes. So in Florida, and I don't know if you've been down here long enough, Zach, that
5 years.
No, that's probably not long enough, to be honest with you.
Okay.
When I was growing up as a kid, right, I can remember, and I'm talking like 10 years old, so we're talking 30 years ago. I can remember in summertime, you could run through the front yard and there would be dragonflies everywhere. Dragonflies.
I've seen a couple, but not many. Yeah.
You hardly see dragonflies anymore at all. And why? Because dragonflies feed off mosquitoes. And the mosquito population in Florida has been culled.
Oh,
like
dude, there's I never get bit by mosquitoes here. Like up in Michigan, it was insane. Like you walk outside, you're getting bit, but not down here. I just assumed that it was going to be much worse when I came down here, and it's not at all.
If you're in an urban population or even, suburban, rural, suburban, you're fine. Like the city we're in, I maybe get bit like 3 or 4 times a year. It's not bad. You go out into the Everglades or something like that, and it's mosquito city. I mean, they're all over the place. But again, I don't know if it's poisons that they're dropping. We used to, when I was younger, we used to see the planes flying overhead dropping the poisons, and we'd be like, oh, they're just spraying for mosquitoes again. And back then, I mean, I was a kid. I was like, oh, yay, we're spraying for mosquitoes. I don't want to be bit by mosquitoes. But in reality, we probably got a lot of cancers and all sorts of crap from that poison. But
yeah.
again, the point I'm making is that you're talking about how, you know, integral it is, integral.
Potato. Go ahead. Keep moving forward
to our ecosystem. And when the dragonflies are gone, then there's certain birds that fed off the dragonflies that they disappear, and it just Google. Lee Zeldin did put this out on X. He's what's his administrator of EPA, excuse me. Entirely fake news. At no point since President Trump was sworn back into office has the EPA authorized the release of any genetically modified mosquitoes into Florida or anywhere else for that matter. So much fake news BS being peddled on social media for retweets, likes, and engagement. Again, the Bill Gates stuff is documented. Now, it didn't happen during Trump, to be clear. It's been proposed. It's been an ongoing thing since like 2012. I think you might even go back to like 07, 08 when they first were talking about using mosquitoes to transmit vaccines. But again, I can tell you as somebody that lives in South Florida that the mosquitoes, the problem is going down significantly.
Or the problem has been made significantly worse because an integral part of the food web has disappeared.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and hit another sponsor here, and then we'll get into another crazy post that President Trump put out on Truth with some J6 stuff that I had never seen before. So, guys, we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part that most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of banks holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you are in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today, and everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels kind of complicated. And that's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all of that complexity and it makes it simple. Choose what you want, whether it's Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like us directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and boom, you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. All right. Thank you to Rumble Wallet for sponsoring the show. So President Trump truthed this out. And have you seen this video, Zach, of this FBI whistleblower?
Oh, no, I hadn't. Yeah, but I saw President Trump post it over the weekend.
I'm saying what I'm saying is I haven't seen it. I don't know if this is an old video or if this was just
I was wondering the same thing. Yeah.
So check this out.
No, we're not uploading. We're not starting cases with these people. To which they said, well, we're going to call your SAC. And the SSA said, go right ahead. Because when you're pushing back, you want to make sure that you have your six covered. So the SAC and the ASAC were intimately aware of these kinds of exchanges that were going on. And again, to his credit, Joe Bonavolonta said, no, we're not opening up cases on people who went to a rally. And I forgot a key part. The SSA for CT2 said, happy to do it. Show us where they were inside the Capitol, and we'll look into it. To which WFO said, we can't show you those videos unless you can tell us the exact time and place those individuals were inside the Capitol. To which the SSA responded back, and I was privy to these conversations firsthand. Why can't you show us? Why can't you just send us give us access to the 11,000 hours of video that's available? Because there may be UC's undercover officers or CHS's confidential human sources on those videos whose identity we need to protect.
That's the I believe he was with the Boston field office.
Okay.
Communicating with the Washington field office, and we've known for a while now about the confidential informants. Now, I'm pretty sure there is a difference between a confidential informant, a confidential human source, and there's definitely a difference between a UC, an undercover that is an actual sworn agent. And that's the first time that we've had some acknowledgement, because we got Jill Sanborn. Remember the famous, I cannot confirm nor deny, the famous Gorham response on that when Ted Cruz was asking during the J6 hearings. But that's the first time that we've had an undercover agent in the crowd and not wanting to give 11,000 hours to the Boston field office. Your own agency is trying to do an investigation, and exculpatory evidence is being withheld from the investigating agencies. They don't even want to look at it. This is a pretty significant piece right here.
I would agree.
Let me fact check myself on, is a confidential informant the same as a confidential human source? I should have fact checked this.
No, they are. Confidential informant, confidential human source.
No, they're not. They're not exactly the same. The key difference is that a CHS is the broader, more modern official term used by the FBI, while confidential informant is a specific type of CHS with a narrower definition. Interesting.
I think an informant is by necessity a criminal or somebody within a network that is informing on stuff, but a source might just be somebody with information or somebody who's being used in some way. It's a fine distinction, but yeah.
It says the FBI officially uses confidential human sources. Okay. In its guidelines. So, but either way, I mean, we kind of got the expose on the CHS's CIs, probably a year ago now, maybe a little bit longer than that ago. I mean, we've always known, we've always speculated. Yeah. But again, that's pretty crazy. That testimony, and I don't know when that testimony was given. I don't know what the context. There is no context in that testimony. Like, President Trump just posted that video, and it was on Fox News, but it's gone largely. Haven't seen much beyond just kind of that it was the Boston field office given that. So President Trump putting that out. When did he truth that?
Maybe Friday or Saturday?
On May 30th, so Saturday at 12:46 a.m. That is a late night post.
Yeah, he's usually up till about 4.
I know. Dude never sleeps.
Or maybe he wakes up at 4. I don't know. I don't know when the man sleeps, to be honest with you.
So we got President Trump's medical records, or his medical let me open this in a new tab. His medical exam, right? And he's in excellent health. It says President Donald J. Trump underwent his annual medical exam at Walter Reed. All aspects of the assessment were performed in accordance with Preventative Services Task Force recommendations. That's pretty important because I'm going to point out something specific here in just a second. You jump into this one right here. You guys, well, hold on. I should have had this. I'm failing you guys. Cardiac had some interesting little comments in there. It says coronary CT angiography demonstrated no arterial obstruction or structural abnormalities of the heart or major vessels. In addition, AI-enhanced electrocardiogram analysis, ECGs, estimated his cardiac age, an established measure of cardiovascular vitality, to be approximately 14 years younger than his chronological age. Additional testing included an echocardiogram, showed no abnormalities. Cardiac chambers and valves are normal with preserved ejection fraction. Cardiac examination revealed a regular rate and rhythm with normal heart sounds. Overall, cardiac function is normal, and circulation to the extremities remains intact. It goes on to talk about his, what everybody's been freaking out. It says dermatologic examination of the dorsal hands revealed ecchymosis, bruising, consistent with minor soft tissue irritation related to frequent hand shaking in the setting of aspirin use for cardiovascular prevention. This represents a common and benign effect of aspirin therapy. No suspicious lesions or concerning growths identified. But then, Zach, and this is in context of what we were just hearing from Jill Biden, check out under additional labs right there, PSA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were told, Jill Biden just told us Let me see if I could pull that clip up. But Jill Biden just told us about, the cancer diagnosis for Joe, that they missed the cancer, right? They missed the cancer. Crap. See if you can find. Oh, here it is. Here it is. That they missed it because of the PSA. They don't do PSAs, rather, if you're over 70. Come on. I'm having technical difficulty.
I can remember getting the diagnosis, and it was shocking.
Do you think that someone, when he was in the White House, should have discovered it, given him a test?
Well, the doctor said that according to the American Urological Association, that men over 70 don't need a PSA, a blood test anymore because.
So, I said this on Saturday before I saw that medical report. I said, she's very quick to walk back PSA. They don't need a PSA. A blood test anymore. And then literally, when was this that Trump posted this? This was Friday at 10:50 p.m. So this was after this interview that this was done. And then all of a sudden we get, the test from President Trump where they did do a PSA. So maybe they changed it. Maybe they changed the procedure after Joe Biden was found to have cancer and they missed it. So,
I think that the reason it's not recommended anymore is because they figure, like, after a certain age, like, what does it matter? They want to catch it early if you're a younger man. And of course, if they can keep you on medication for the rest of your life, then that's great too. But I would imagine that they probably, President Trump or his doctors, they want to show in every way that they possibly can how healthy he is. I also believe that they were aware of Joe Biden's cancer the entire time that he was in the White House. And so, the excuse is just that.
Well, and that's where I think we're going to see that get thrust into the spotlight a little bit here. The way she walked that back right there, it seemed like, she hasn't talked about it in a while. And, she knew that it was supposed to be a PSA test that was ignored. And then she quickly deflected to blood tests, right? Again, blood tests are being done on the president quite often. I think you're right that they did know he had cancer. And I wonder, was he on some sort of cancer treatment? Was he doing chemo? Was he doing anything? And if he was, these are things that affect your cognitive function, right? Especially if he's doing chemo. There's absolutely going to be cognitive decline if you're doing chemo. But again, yes, PSA is a blood test, but it's a specific blood test. I see somebody in the chat said that, but it's a specific blood test. And she was clear to say that they PSA and then walks that back and turns it into just blood tests. And so again, nuance, right? But I think that we're going to see some interesting, I don't know, maybe some mentioning of that coming up here. Jordan Conrad, saying Gateway Pundit, pointed out that Trump has gained 17 pounds since his last physical. He's now 238 pounds. So,
well, he's on the road a lot, probably a lot of Big Macs.
That's what I was about to say, but 17 pounds. That's President Trump truth this out. He said the results of my physical examination taken at Walter Reed Medical Center and just released were extremely good. Unlike other U.S. presidents, none of whom have ever taken an approved, high difficulty cognitive test. I scored a perfect 30 out of 30, considered extreme intelligence. Are the Democrats really surprised? In fact, this is my fourth such test, all perfect or 120 correct answers out of 120 questions asked. It is very rare that anyone gets a perfect score, especially when achieved 4 times in a row. All people running for president and vice president should be forced to take high difficulty cognitive tests. Congress and the Democrats should demand it. President Donald J. Trump. Let's go.
Yes. I am.
What's that?
I said I'm in favor of it. Yeah.
So
people should not be allowed to make decisions that affect vast numbers of the population.
Well, after the Joe Biden debacle, there's no question that cognitive tests should be very public. Like you should actually have to, like, it should be live streamed. The cognitive test should be live streamed. I don't want any monkey business going on with the test there. I don't want any deceptive people reporting results to us. I want to see them thinking on their feet. But again, we won't get that, and we'll get at some point, I don't know, the Joe Biden debacle. We'll get that all sorted out. Who knew what and when? John Cornyn put out this cryptic tweet. You saw this?
Such a lack of self-awareness. Yeah, I commented on it. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Senator John Cornyn, soon to be removed. An old but apt fable. A scorpion wants to cross a river but cannot swim, so it asks a frog to carry it across. The frog hesitates, afraid that the scorpion might sting it, but the scorpion promises not to, pointing out that it would drown if it killed the frog in the middle of the river. The frog considers this argument sensible and agrees to transport the scorpion. Midway across the river, the scorpion stings the frog anyway, dooming them both. The dying frog asks the scorpion why it stung, despite knowing the consequence, to which the scorpion replies, "I'm sorry, but I couldn't help myself. It's my character." Now, a lot of people are saying that's Trump, the comparisons that they're making.
Oh, I mean, you could be making the comparison for Trump or for Paxton. I think it's more likely that he's talking about Paxton, but I think it's pretty obvious that in this particular parable, John Cornyn is the scorpion, and he, throughout his entirety of his history in the United States Senate, did little to advance the American agenda, and now, as a result of his humiliating loss, he's effectively on the Mexican side of the Rio Grande for good.
So again, this was a very, very cryptic. There's been a lot of people that have interpreted it all sorts of different ways. Some people have completely rewritten it. I hadn't seen the Paxton, although I didn't spend much time going through the comments on it. The thing that it kind of reminded me of President Trump always telling the snake fable,
Oh, yeah.
Similar concepts.
The snake.
I'm a snake, you dumbass. I love it when he tells that story, but just like after the 12th time, it gets longer and longer. It's like, okay, come on, get back to the speech.
Yeah.
But it's such a great story when he tells that story. But Leanne Caldwell puts this out. She's a chief Washington correspondent for Puck News, formerly with the Post and NBC News, said John Cornyn comes out and says what senators have been telling me privately. They're perplexed, angry, and in some cases resigned to the conclusion that Trump cares more about himself than the midterms. Again, this is the battle that's going on. Trump is at war with the GOP covertly. You're seeing people are starting to catch on. Been saying it for a while that he overtly attacks the Dems and covertly attacks the GOP, and we are seeing it in real time.
GOP is most definitely a huge part of the problem.
Yep, absolutely. I think the last story we'll get to today, just cover this story briefly because I don't understand how the judge has any authority in this, but Politico, judge launches inquiry into Trump IRS settlement that led to anti-weaponization fund. It says a federal judge is demanding answers to allegations that President Trump defrauded her court by filing a lawsuit against the IRS as a pretext to reach a settlement that resulted in $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund to make payouts to his political allies. U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams launched the inquiry on Friday after closing the lawsuit on her docket last week. The Miami-based Obama appointee cited a request by 35 former federal judges who urged her to reopen the case to determine whether Trump's efforts amounted to, quote, serious misconduct, end quote, and abuse of the court system. On what grounds does a judge have the authority to open an investigation like that without a request? Like the
request was from those 35 former federal judges.
What is their standing?
It's ridiculous. It was bad legal argument from the very beginning. I didn't think that it was going to go this way, but there is no standing. There is no precedence for this. However, there is precedence for the fund that has been produced. Okay. It's not like a new thing, but the implementation of it is going to be far better than anything that happened in the past. I mean, the Obama administration created a fund like this and basically paid it all out to their NGO allies. So no, I mean, like, the whole thing is, let's get Trump any way that we possibly can. It's retarded.
I love this. Keep this thing going right here. 35 former federal judges recommending to a judge to reopen a case to investigate it. Never had any concern on her own until that point. That is the weaponization. That is the proverbial deep state taking action, and you can see the influence that they have. That the judge, and it's also not lost on me, this is taking place in Miami with with the grand conspiracy taking place in the Southern District of Florida as well. Really, really crazy story. That's one that I definitely want to keep an eye on. A judge reopening a case at the behest of 35 other former federal judges that have zero standing in that case whatsoever.
No. If we don't have the right to question our elections, but judges have the right to question a case that they had nothing to do with, I mean, absent the fact that at one time they sat on the federal bench too, that's freaking ridiculous. Absolutely comical.
Spot on. That was exactly my thought as the standing with all of that. So, all right, real quick, we got some rants here that we'll get to, and then we'll get out of here. We got Y Crumbs coming up at 1. And then and of course Daily Herald also at 1, and then I think Alpha Makes Sandwiches. I know my wife will not be able to be on, but I think as far as I know, Ash and Jackie are still doing that. Doc from Amish PA, since we're in the 80s movies, need a Goodies style one with the Badlands crew. Goonies,
I think they meant.
You mean Goonies? I would be totally down for that. I love the Goonies. What character would you be in the Goonies, Zach? I think you'd be Data.
I'll take it. That's fine.
You would
booty traps.
I think I would be I'd be Sloth.
You guys. That's great.
All right, Smay 60s. You just say truthers are like the guys that signed the Declaration of Independence. You're doing it at your own risks. Yep.
Thank you.
I think that's talking about the guy in Lawrence, Mass.
Mm-hmm.
And Emerald Dragon, sunlight coming in the garage door when the sound wave pushes it. I don't think that was the same event, because that would have had to have been right where the sound originated from to see the light at the same time, and 300 tons of TNT would probably blow that guy's garage door down. I don't think that was the same event. I just think somebody wanted to get their garage cam on the news or something. Makes sense to me. Way behind. It's funny that the governor of New Jersey says it. Out-of-state protesters shouldn't be here to protest the people that shouldn't be here. Oh, that's rich. All right. Love it, guys. Thank you all so much for the rants. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Smash that thumbs up on your way out. And again, be sure to check out the upcoming shows here on Badlands. We've got Y Crumbs and Daily Herald. Zach will be on Baseless Conspiracies tonight
at 10:30, and then I'll be on my own channel at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.